Okay, no one is talking about this. We get into exactly what the Ducks have done in this offseason to once again become a potential playoff team in the upcoming season. We get into all that in this edition of Ducks Digest. Hey, it's Mike Nelson. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I want to thank the 19% of the ones who are watching these videos who have already hit the sub button. But 81% of you, not sure why you haven't subscribed yet. We're the newest Anaheim Ducks YouTube channel, bringing you everyday Ducks content. Help out a fellow Ducks fan and hit that subscribe button. So we got to get into the story. As we know, the Hockey News did their rankings on what teams have done in the offseason. Basically, what they've, ranking the offseason moves of all 32 NHL teams. And the Ducks came in 5th when it comes to summer splash rankings, which is pretty good if you ask me. 5th out of 32, 5 out of 32. So the Ducks, according to the Hockey News, had a successful offseason when it comes to making this team better, when it comes to getting the players, when it comes to creating and assembling a team that is going to compete next year in the upcoming NHL season. But what do you think? What do the fans think out there? Do you think the Ducks are back? Do you think the Ducks are finally back, or are the Ducks still in a rebuilding process? Are they still maybe a year or two away from actually making the playoffs? Well, if you ask me, I think the Ducks have the potential to make the playoffs now, right? I really think the Ducks have that potential to do that this season. I think they have all the tools, all the players. They have it all to make the playoffs next season. I mean, I know it sounds crazy because of the way the last 2 years have gone, but the Ducks, let's not forget, they weren't that bad last season. I mean, the Ducks were not that bad last season. Sure, they started out really bad, but the Ducks picked it up in the middle half, second half of the year, and they looked pretty good. So, I mean, the Ducks took a big step forward, I think, last season. And, they fired Greg Cronin, their head coach, which I think they had to. I think it was the right move because their special teams were a complete atrocity with Cronin. I hope that is better with, they get a lot better with Joel Quenneville, an experienced NHL coach. So, that alone, I think, that move, some people might say, why would you do it last year? The Ducks were close to the playoffs, whatever. I don't think they were that close, but, I think in the end, it was the right move to fire Greg Cronin. It was the right move, right? It was the right move to move on from him, and the Ducks have a lot to look forward this upcoming season. And they did a lot of things this offseason that make you feel comfortable, make you feel good about this upcoming year, right? They added Mikael Granlund, they added Chris Kreider, Ryan Poehling, Peter Mrazek, and of course head coach Joel Quenneville. And they got these players. Mikael Granlund was a free agent signing, but the other guys were trades, right? I mean, they traded for Chris Kreider. Ryan Poehling was another trade, the Trevor Zegras trade, and then Peter Mrazek, the John Gibson trade. So they went out and made some offseason moves and deals that are going to help the Ducks, I think, in the long run, and they're definitely going to help out the Ducks this upcoming season. The Ducks finished 16 points out of a playoff spot in the West. Kind of far away if you ask me. And of course, GM Pat Verbeek went into the offseason with a mandate to get his team as competitive as possible, as quickly as possible. And the first thing he did was fire Greg Cronin, head coach. He's like, you're out of here, right? You're not going to make us competitive. So he went out and got a lot of players. I mean, the Ducks have, like I said, a lot of new faces. It's a new roster. This is not the same Ducks team from last year. It's a better Ducks team. It's better than last year, right? That's how I see it. Kreider and Glenn will be looked to for a boost on offense after the Ducks scored the third fewest goals in the NHL last season, which is obviously not very good. 30 out of 32 when it comes to scoring goals. Kreider only had 22 goals and 30 points in 68 games, but he put up 39 goals just a year, season and a half ago. So this guy has a capability to put up a lot of goals. Granlund, 33 years old, was one of the rebuilding San Jose Sharks' leading scorers in the last 2 years before being traded to the Stars, where he had 21 points in 31 games in more of a depth role, last season, right? But now coming to the Ducks, he's going to be one of those stars. He's not going to be on a depth role. This guy is going to be one of the Ducks' offensive stars, to say the least. Even Ryan Poehling, who came to the Ducks in the Trevor Zegras trade, can provide some depth scoring. He put up 12 goals, 31 points in 68 games last year with the Flyers, while averaging just 13 minutes of ice time. We're going to see if that 13 minutes goes up here with the Ducks. I mean, is he a 13-minute game player or is he even more, right? I mean, we'll see exactly how Poehling fits in. But I think he is going to be also important for the Ducks. The Ducks trade away Trevor Zegras, right? They gave up on him. That's it. He is gone. And they went on and got a player that, doesn't have a lot of, flash to him. There's not a lot of, a lot of people don't know who Ryan Poehling is, right? I mean, he's not a star like Zegras, but there's a lot of, potential, right? Potential right now, a third or fourth line player for the Ducks. But eventually, hopefully, you never know, a second line player as he progresses in his career. And that's what I think the Ducks saw in Ryan Poehling. Peter Mrazek came back in the John Gibson trade. He's going to compete with Ville Husso for that backup role, although I think Husso will be going to the goals, and I think Mrazek is going to be that backup for Lucas Dostal. I mean, Lucas Dostal is clearly the starting goaltender for the Ducks, right? There's no doubt about it. I mean, he is the starting goaltender for the Ducks. I don't know what everybody thinks out there, but I don't see Mrazek as that 1A, 1B like it was with John Gibson. I think this is a completely different situation now. The Ducks went out and signed Dostal, gave him a bunch of money. And Peter Mrazek is a kind of a over-the-hill kind of goaltender, right? He's at the end of his career. He's not John Gibson. And I just can't see the 1A, 1B thing going on anymore. I mean, I think Lucas Dostal is the starting goaltender for the Ducks. That's it. I mean, if he's not hurt, he's playing. Then maybe it's a back-to-back. You throw in Mrazek. But for the most part, I think Lucas is the guy. I don't know what everybody thinks out there. Do you see the Ducks still employing that 1A, 1B thing like they were doing with Gibson and Dostal, right? I mean, it was kind of like both guys were starting goaltenders for the Ducks. They kind of always alternated. There was always that feeling that it could be Dostal or it could be Gibson. Now, I don't know. I don't know what you think. I don't know if Dostal and Mrazek... I mean, Dostal is clearly entering the prime of his career, and Mrazek is on his way out. So I think he's a backup here for the Ducks. That's my opinion. But, of course, departures for the Ducks, Gibson, Zegras, Robbie Fabry, Lundestrom, Brooke McGinn, Brett Leeson, Oliver Kylington, and Greg Cronin, as we know, coach. A lot of guys are gone, but this is it. The Ducks have a new team, right? Gibson was in a trade rumor for at least 2 years. I think more like 3 or 4 years. And they finally traded him, which I think in the end is the right move. Lucas Dostal is the future for the Ducks. And like I said, also like this article kind of talks a bit about the decline in production for Trevor Zegras, another guy. It was the right time to move him. I don't disagree with any of the moves the Ducks have made here in the offseason. There is one move I disagree with. I guess the way that the Mason McTavish thing is being handled, right? I think that is a complete mistake. The Ducks have to go out and sign McTavish as soon as possible because you don't want this guy getting, angry here with the Ducks. You want him to stay for a long time. As always, make sure to subscribe, and let's go Ducks. Woo!